Hey guys, so early this week, Workhorse did have their third quarter earnings report, and within this report, there was some interesting pieces of news and information around the company. So some parts of the report were a little bit disappointing, to be completely honest. However, on the flip side, there was some very encouraging and positive announcements and pieces of news surrounding Workhorse. So in this video today, I thought I'd take a quick look at the earnings report announcement and some of the highlights of it, as well as some of the other good news that has come out around Workhorse and how the stock price has reacted this week. If you're not too familiar about Workhorse as a company, I do have several other videos on my channel which I would encourage you to go back and have a look at before you watch this video. And apart from that, remember to leave a like if you do enjoy this video, it really does help me out. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to break down some of the key highlights from the third quarter earnings report. So the first one here is that Workhorse only did make 7 deliveries in Q3, which was a little disappointing personally in my opinion. So I wasn't expecting this delivery number to be too high, and I'm certainly not looking for too much in the short term for a company like Workhorse. However, I was expecting this to be a little bit higher than 7, and to be honest, 7 is quite underwhelming. So 5 of these vehicles that they did deliver this quarter were delivered to Pritchard Companies, which is a auto trader and car dealership. They sell brand new and second-hand cars and vehicles. So this is where it gets interesting, because Workhorse have also recently announced that they received a purchase order of 500 C1000 trucks from Pritchard Companies, all of which do plan to be delivered in 2021. So the fact that Pritchard started off with a small amount of trucks, which is the 5 that they had delivered this quarter, and then followed through with a much bigger order of 500 is definitely very encouraging and very exciting to see, as it does suggest that Pritchard were very happy with the quality and performance of the trucks they received from Workhorse, and it made them so happy that they wanted to buy more for the future. The COO of Pritchard Company's EV division also did add to this in a statement where he said that they see this initial 500 vehicle purchase as the first of many future orders, and they would look forward to growing with Workhorse in 2021 and beyond. So again, this is definitely a good sign to see as an investor's point of view on Workhorse, and it does mean that their vehicles are satisfying their customers, so much so that they are willing to make more orders further down the line. Workhorse did also record additional new vehicle sales from Fluid Systems and E-Trucks. So both of these companies may be ordering quite a small amount of vehicles from Workhorse to test the waters a little bit before potentially doing the same thing that Pritchard have done and putting in a bigger order further down the line if they like what they have received from Workhorse. And again, this is good to get new customers in, as it means that Workhorse are opening themselves up for larger orders further down the line. So looking back at Workhorse's 2020 quarter 2 earnings, there was a clear production and delivery target that was set of 300 to 400 vehicles in 2020. So Workhorse's chief executive, Dwayne Hughes, did state in this Q3 earnings report that they are most likely going to fall short of this target for this year, but he cannot give an updated estimate of the likely delivery amount for this year. So this was definitely a bit disappointing to see. However, he did give some pretty valid reasons as to why this is the case. So the first one was that their primary battery supplier struggled to meet their volume demands due to capacity issues and virus-related slowdowns. And on top of this, more than 36% of Workhorse's production-related staff are currently out of action due to the virus or quarantine-related work absence. So if we do take the chief executive's word on this and believe what they are saying, then obviously there's nothing that Workhorse can really do, and it's just a bit of an unfortunate situation that they've got themselves into. Workhorse did go ahead and set a production volume target for 2021 of 1,800 vehicles, and the goal is to be producing 100 every month in the first half of the year, and then moving up to 200 every month in the second half of the year. Now there is currently a 1,700 vehicle backlog right now for Workhorse, which does suggest to me that this shouldn't be an issue to achieve this 1,800 target for the year, providing that they don't run into any production facility problems in 2021. It's also very important to note that this 1,800 vehicle target is not inclusive of any future contracts that Workhorse might win. So this 1,800 vehicle target would increase significantly if Workhorse were to win a portion of the USPS contract. We also got an update on the current cash position for Workhorse, which is now at over $260 million, but the net loss for the quarter was at quite a high $84.1 million. So I do think that if Workhorse don't start to increase their deliveries quite significantly in 2021, then they might have to start looking for more funding in order to sustain the losses that they're taking every quarter. However, in saying that, Workhorse did state that they believe that they do have enough cash available as of right now to get them through the entirety of 2021, regardless of what happens with the deliveries next year. So they may not need to actually get additional financing for quite a while, which is a good thing to see. This is obviously not set in stone right now though, so we will have to wait and see how this cash holds out going into the next year or so. We also did get confirmation of a couple of things that some people had already seen before, but the first one was that Workhorse have officially submitted their formal type certification application to the FFA for the Horsefly aerial system. So once this has been approved, it will be a great thing for Workhorse because it means that their vehicles will become even more efficient at making deliveries because they will now have these drones available to make extra drop-offs when they're going on their delivery runs. Now they also did confirm that they have received approval from the New York Truck Incentive Program to offer monetary vouchers for the C-Series vehicles in select state counties. Now this is definitely positive to hear because it gives more incentive for drivers to buy Workhorse vehicles across the state of New York. So I do also believe that we are likely to see more state incentives like this one across other US states in the future. So as the pressure to reduce emissions does increase over time, it's only natural for more electric vehicle government incentives to pop up all over the country, which would obviously benefit companies like Workhorse quite a lot. So looking into the future for Workhorse, so Biden is now officially confirmed to be the US president, which means that he's expected to make protecting the environment one of his main focuses, and he has made several promises throughout his presidential campaign on protecting the environment. So we can speculate that Biden being elected was positive for a company like Workhorse, as he is expected to do more for the progression of clean energy and electric vehicles than Trump would have done. So the electrification of delivery fleets is therefore likely to be a high priority throughout the next 4 years or so, and this would definitely help out Workhorse quite a lot. So in terms of looking at the earnings report as a whole, personally as a Workhorse investor, I do have some mixed feelings about their overall report. However, I do think that there are definitely some very good pieces of news in this report, especially the Pritchard 500 vehicle order, which I think is definitely very amazing to hear. I think it's really encouraging for a company like Workhorse because it suggests to me that their products are good enough to satisfy big organisations, and with more and more organisations making small orders, this gives Workhorse more opportunity in the future to capitalise on bigger return orders, just like what's happened with Pritchard. So there is still no concrete news on the USPS contract, but as the announcement has already been pushed back to the end of the year, this was quite expected. We will most likely have to wait a further 4 to 6 weeks to find out if Workhorse have won a portion of the contract, which does leave plenty of time for further stock price movements over the next few weeks or so. The general market sentiment on the day of the release was quite positive, and the stock price did increase from $17.29 to $18.96, which was an impressive 9.6% on the day. So now if we take a look at the current Workhorse stock chart, as you can see from the day of the earnings, we have gone up on that day and have continued to go up right up until now, and the time that I'm recording this is just before the market closes on a Thursday. So quite crucially, we are now approaching the first resistance point for Workhorse, which is around about $20. So it will definitely be interesting to see if Workhorse can push past this point and go into the low 20s again. However, we could also see the stock price drop a little bit, and in general the stock does tend to trade between that $15 point and the $20 point, as the $15 support point tends to be quite strong, and the stock hasn't really ever dropped below $15 since it first sort of shot up in late June. So yeah, not much else to say really. It's obviously quite hard to tell where this stock is going to go in the near future, and it's also very hard to estimate how high it will go if they do win some of the USPS contract, and on the flip side how low it will crash if they don't win any. Now it will obviously depend on how much of the USPS contract they do win to determine how high they will go. But personally, if they do win a decent portion of the contract, I can definitely see them going above $40 or $50, just shooting right up. Obviously this would be a big increase, but we've seen that they've already pushed the $30 point without any news of the contract. So I definitely think it's possible to push that $40 and $50 mark if the USPS contract does go in Workhorse's favour. But yeah, for the time being, I think we will continue to trade between that $20 and $15 mark. It would be nice to see us break out of that $20 resistance point and start trading in the low 20s again, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So that is all for today, guys. Please remember that I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for purely entertainment purposes only. This is only my own research and my own thoughts on the company. So before you look to buy any stock, you should always do your own research. Make sure you know exactly what you're investing in. Please remember to leave a like if you did enjoy this video. It really does help me out a lot. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And also be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Workhorse stock. And also let me know if you're going to be buying some more this week. I'd be really interested to find out. And apart from that, thanks a lot for watching.